Good evening, Mason Nation, and welcome to our weekly feature, a Patriot of the Week, where each week we bring in a George Mason Patriot, or former George Mason Patriot, and tell them interesting facts about their lives pretty much. I'm Tyler Byrum. I am the news director for Mason Cable News, and this week we have Joe Gould, former manager of the men's soccer team. Now he's gone on to Loudon Soccer, but glad to have you on.
Thank
Joe,
you.
today.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. So, and we've met before, of course,
Yeah.
me broadcasting with the soccer games and whatnot, seeing you around. But how exactly would one want to be manager of the soccer team? How does that happen?
It's a pretty simple process, actually. You just, for me, for what I did, I just approached the head coach, Greg Andrulis. I was a sport management major here at Mason, and one of the requirements you have to do for that is take a practicum class. So the semester that I wanted to take it, a few weeks beforehand, I approached him and asked if I could come and just help out the team to fulfill this requirement. And he said, yeah, sure, that's fine. And so I did it for that semester, and I really enjoyed my time there, and I gelled with all the guys on the team. And so afterwards they invited me back on a more permanent basis. And so I stuck with them for the next three years, yeah.
Okay, so you were with the team for 3 years, and of course the biggest year, really, you could say in recent history has been, of course, last year, going to the College Cup, making it to the second round, beating William and Mary, and eventually losing to New Mexico, who was one of the Final Four teams. But 3 years is a long time. What is one of your favorite memories in those 3 years?
Sure. There's a lot, but I'll give you two. One of them being just the day-to-day practices were always enjoyable. Behind the field house, down on the fields, it was fun to be with the guys every day, and I was kind of the kit man, so I'd bring the cones and the balls and help the coaches set up the fields how they wanted to, and that was always enjoyable. And then the William and Mary game itself for the College Cup, I got to go down with the team and actually film the game, and so I was there in the stands, and the atmosphere was just absolutely electric. I mean, a lot of Mason fans traveled down for the game, and obviously it was televised, and so we had a huge audience back here that was watching the game, and I was live tweeting for the Mason men's soccer account, and yeah, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome, and when we scored that penalty to win it, to go through to face New Mexico, it was just brilliant.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go to that game, of course. It was, George Mason versus William Mary, former CAA rivals.
That's right.
But green and gold against each other, what's better than that?
That's right.
So, yeah, as you mentioned, Atlantic 10 champions last year. As manager of the soccer team, do you happen to get one of those championship rings?
I did. I didn't wear it today. It's sitting at home, and it's well polished and shiny.
So I bring you on the show, and you don't even let me see one of the rings.
I know. I'm sorry. I honestly didn't even go through my brain. I really should have. But yes, I have one. I was fortunate enough because not all team managers get them, but I was fortunate enough that they got me one. So that was really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Not every day you get a championship ring.
It's true. I consider myself very fortunate.
And so, after the William and Mary game, went on to play New Mexico. Did you happen to go to New Mexico?
No, I wasn't able to go to New Mexico. I really wanted to, and I tried, but it wasn't in the budget for them to send me down there. So instead, I watched it live online, and that's how I tweeted the game and kept up with things. And so, yeah, it was me and my wife. We were sitting in our apartment watching the game and hanging on to every moment and hoping that they come out with a win, and yeah, so that's how I watched it.
You didn't mention to me before that you're married. When that happened?
I've been married for 4 years now.
Wow.
Before I came to George Mason, I was a student at Michigan State University, and that's where I met my wife. And then she graduated before I did, and so we moved here, and I transferred to George Mason, and I'm really glad that I did. I loved my time here. It was wonderful.
Nice. So you have graduated
Yes.
from Mason, and now you're working with Loudon Soccer, not too far away from here. What exactly do you do with Loudon Soccer?
Loudon Soccer actually is a youth soccer organization. We're the largest one in the state of Virginia. We cater to over 10,000 families in Loudoun County. For those of you that don't know, Loudoun County is just north of here. It borders Fairfax County as well as Arlington County. And so I do a lot of the similar work to what I was doing for George Mason. I do their social media. I also manage their website. We're in the process of developing a brand new website for them, and that's been a long process, but good. The end result is good. And then I also do press releases for them and any other things that they want me to do. So a lot of media related things. That's generally what I do, and some events.
Yeah, nice. I've noticed on some of the Twitter accounts on Loudon, they sometimes tweet out at George Mason there, and I was like, oh, that must be Jill.
That's me. Yep. Whoever's running the Mason Athletics one does a really good job helping us out. But yeah, we bring kids down here for some of the games, for some of the soccer games, and so yeah, whenever we're coming, we try to promote it, and so yeah, there's some communication there between us and Mason.
Yeah, nice. So with Loudon, that's a permanent job, right?
Yes, it's a permanent job. I was actually their intern over the summer. That was the very last class I had to do for my major, for my sport management major, and again, similar to manager for Mason men's soccer, Loudon asked if I would stay on, and so they hired me to a full-time basis, and here I am.
Okay, nice. You mentioned you bring some of the kids out to the games, and just good environment for them. Sometimes they ball chase, depending on the game. How many games have you made it up to this year?
This year we've been to 2, and I personally hope to come to a few others, but I know the season's running late now. Yeah, we're going to the women's game tonight actually, and then we came to the men's game against UVA last week, which was awesome. Despite the rain, there was a huge crowd there, and it was a lot of fun. The kids had a really good time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you mentioned that men's soccer game was UVA. Probably one of the biggest soccer matches Mason has hosted, at least in recent memory. Thoughts on the game? I mean, you mentioned it was great and all in the rain, but...
The game I thought was good. It was very back and forth. I thought Mason went pretty toe-to-toe in the first half with UVA. The second half, I think, was a little bit of a different story, only because UVA came out flying. And when they scored their goal, which would turn out to be the winner, it was after that I think Mason really turned it on, and they had their chances. Mason had definitely had their chances. They definitely could have tied that game or even won it. It looked really good. I thought UVA did a good job of closing down our main threat, which is Timmy Mulgrew. They did a good job of wrapping him up. But yeah, all in all, I thought Mason did a good job, and they were a bit unlucky.
So, are you still in contact with some of the players on the team right now? Do you still talk, hang out, go grab a drink maybe if you're over 21?
Yes, I am. With a few of the guys that graduated with me, so they're no longer on the team. But yeah, I saw a few of them at the UVA game, and we were talking for a little bit. And a few of the guys like Taylor Washington and Timmy Mulgrew, we stay in touch briefly. So yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So, just what are your thoughts on the team this year? I mean, it's one thing to get up to the top and become Atlantic champions, but
sure,
it's another thing to stay up there. So what are your thoughts on the team?
Well, it's always hard to repeat a title when you lose so many seniors who bring such leadership and experience to the field. But I really feel like Mason got off to a really good start. They launched up into the rankings, and then there's a series of unfortunate events, and after their win last week against St. Louis, I think that's really going to bring them back into the national spotlight. And the A10 is a good conference. There's a lot of good teams, and the style of play that they play is tough. And so the fact that Mason can go toe to toe with a lot of these teams with very little issue is a good thing. And so this year, I would expect us to challenge once again for a title.
And so Atlantic Championships, that's coming up in November. This year it's going to be actually in Richmond, I think, hosted by VCU. Going to be able to make it down. I mean, last year was in Dayton. That was a bit of a stretch for some people to travel. Right. But I know now with it being in Richmond, a lot of Mason fans are heading down. If you get off work, be able to?
Hey, if I can get off work, I would absolutely love to go. I didn't actually know that it was going to be in Richmond, so that's good news to hear. Yeah, that makes my commute a whole lot easier, and I would absolutely love to get down there for a game or two.
So Joe's boss, if you're listening or watching right now, give this man off the weekend of the Atlantic Championship. He'll definitely be there, biggest Mason fan in the crowd, of course, and of course he will be supporting Loudon Soccer as well, helping you guys grow as a program. But yeah, I mean, it's just great to see that what you did as a manager of the men's soccer team has translated into what you do now with Loudon Soccer. I mean, I know Loudon Soccer's been around for a couple of years, doing really good stuff in the community for George Mason and Fairfax more.
Yeah, absolutely. We pull a few kids from Fairfax, absolutely, and we strive to support our local teams, and George Mason is definitely one of them, and we have several coaches who played for George Mason back in the day, and even our travel director, he used to play here for George Mason. So yeah, it's good. We love the connection, and we try to keep things tight with everybody here, and we're glad you guys are here. We enjoy coming to the games and enjoy supporting you, and in turn we hope to help feed your program with excellent players.
Everyone's hoping for that. So for students here at Mason, how can they, I know Loudon Soccer is more youth oriented, but how can they get involved, maybe help out, or just?
Sure. So Loudon Soccer actually owns its own property up in towards Leesburg. It's right next to the Leesburg Airport. And on that property we have 2 turf fields and we have 1 grass field, and we own that. And our soccer headquarters, our soccer house, as they're called, is on that property as well. And so we actually have a need for a lot of different things. If you want to get interested in coaching, you can just submit your information to info@loudonsoccer.com, and they'll let you know. That's for the rec side of things. If you want to coach travel, that's a little more involved. You need some licenses, some coaching licenses to do that. And we have programs that you can take in order to do that. If you're interested in doing more of the, maybe doing more day-to-day stuff, we're always looking for help with our facility, with Loudon Soccer Park, especially with concession stuff, as well as facilities management. Our groundskeeper, he's very good. But he's always looking for some extra hands, and a lot of it is paid. So again, same way, just shoot an email over to info@loudonsoccer.com, and it'll find its right place.
Yeah, so if you're watching out there, I know everyone's tight on money, especially us college students. Loudon Soccer, they'll help you out. Maybe a little bit of a drive, but I mean.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a drive, but if you have a car and some good music, it's not too bad.
Yeah. So. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I think that about does it for this episode of Patriot for the Week. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Once again, Joe. I'm sure we'll be talking. We have season's not over yet in men's soccer, so we'll be meeting up a couple more games. But thank you for tuning in. For Joe Gould, I'm Tyler Byrum. Back to you guys in the studio.